c'est qu'on ne sait pas qu'on a trop de problèmes.
Okay, that one is titled Pauvreté. It's by Espoir Demil. We've moved from Central Africa to West Africa, and precisely in Ivory Coast. So in the next couple of minutes, we're going to have some good pieces of Ivorian music. But then, before then, we are going to take a stop over in Maryland, where we have our next guest, who is a Cameroonian gospel artist who has released her maiden single. Her name is Lady Bei. Okay, before we get Lady Bei, I enjoy you to listen to this.
Coursing through my veins, you make me glow brighter than the sun. Holy Lamb, your love captured my heart and gave me hope of the day to meet with you. You are my source, my life, my strength. In thee I find my confidence. I love to bask in your presence. Let me hide myself in you. Your glory is my source of power. I'm fully submerged in your great waters. All else aside, my heart's desire to be with you. I'm in love with you, Lord. I'm in love with you, Lord. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're the wind beneath my wings, shelter from the rain.
And that one is titled I'm in Love. It's less than 72 hours old in circulation, and the artist is Lady Bei.
Love, yeah. You're the wind beneath my wings, shelter from the rain. Breath of life coursing through my veins. You make me glow brighter than the sun. Yeah.
The voice is soul searching, it is captivating, and when you listen to this, I know you have something to write home about. Beautiful music coming to you from African Cocktail. I'm in love. Lady Bei.
Confidence, I love to bask in your presence. Let me hide myself in you. Your glory is my source of power. I'm fully submerged in your great water. All else aside, my heart's desire to be with you. I'm in love with you. Yeah, I'm in love with you, Lord. Yeah, you're the wind beneath my wings, shelter from the rain. I'm in love with you, Lord. I love you. I'm in love with you, Lord. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm in love. A beautiful one there, and a production of Yomi Omidiran. Hey. African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. Just right ahead, we shall be talking to the author of this very beautiful piece.
I'm in love with you, I'm in love with you. You're the wind beneath my wings, shelter from the rain. Yeah, I'm in love with you, Lord. I love you, yeah. I love you, Lord. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're the wind beneath my wings, shelter from the rain.
And when you have Grace Folu, another gospel artist par excellence, doing the background vocals, then the result is a perfect piece of job, like the one you're listening to. I'm in love. Lady Bei will be right here to tell us about this beautiful project, which is less than 72 hours old in circulation, like have said throughout this edition of African Cocktail.
Always on my mind, always on my heart. Takes me everywhere I know. Yeah, yeah. I'm in love with you. Yeah, yeah. Love with you. Yeah, Jesus, my Lord. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I'm in love with you. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, my
Okay, I'm in love with you, Lord. Beautiful one there, titled I'm in Love by Lady Bei. And at exactly 29 minutes to 1, time for us to move to Maryland and get the author of this song live to tell us about this very beautiful piece she has presented to the world. Lady Bei, you're welcome to the 57th episode of African Cocktails.
Hello everyone, I'm so happy to be on there.
So how are you today?
I'm doing very well. I'm very happy about the song and I'm excited to do this interview.
Lady Bei, this song has been running for the past couple of minutes and believe me, my main guest has been nodding his head all the time and he told me behind the scenes that this sounds really, really fantastic and it doesn't sound Cameroonian. And some people have the impression, I was talking to someone yesterday when we listened to this song, that this is African American styled gospel music. Do you have that impression as well?
Well, you could say that a lot of my influence is African as well as a bit of American. I've been in America for about 16 years, so I definitely get where they're hearing that from. But then again, I know that my style is quite a mix of different styles as well as, you know,
right.
You have gospel, you have African American, you have African, you have even Asian. I mean, it's just a mix of a lot of different things.
So this single was dropped on Monday. It's just a couple of hours old in circulation. How are people reacting to it so far?
So people are really loving I'm in Love. So far the reaction has been great and very encouraging. I mean, this work has been long anticipated from a lot of my friends and family. So I got overwhelming support and feedback.
And I would imagine that you have some special feelings because this is your maiden single and people are loving it this way. Could you just describe the kind of special feelings you have, Bei?
Yes, sure. So I'm very excited to finally do this. I mean, I would summarize my feelings in 2 words: overwhelmed and humbled. So releasing this song to the public can be releasing a song in general by any artist can be a daunting task. And so it's a new level of vulnerability that is just different from singing on stage or doing background vocals for other artists. So, I mean, I'm humbled to see the love and encouragement, and I look forward to making a mark in the world by showing my love for Christ.
Now, the track is so melodiously beautiful, just as the title of it, I'm in Love. This sounds so strong, and anybody getting it would definitely want to know what is embedded in this song. So what is the message in it?
I mean, this song, to me, starting with this song was very important because this is like my open declaration of my love for Jesus Christ. I mean, I've been through so many things in my life, and still I found the grace, or I have found the grace to enjoy each day. And I know that can only be through the love that God has shown me. So naturally, you know, I've grown to love Him more than anything else in the world, and I just wanted to show that with this song.
So, for how long have you worked on this project to have it produced, and who are some of the people who contributed artistically and technically?
Okay, so this project took several months to complete, which is kind of is a bit different from what a lot of artists normally do in.
Right.
Yes. So, I mean, the way I saw it is this is my first work that anybody would ever hear of me. So I really wanted it to represent my style, which I like, as I said earlier, is very different from other African artists that we hear. So I wanted the song to be digestible to the general public. So, you know, I brought along a great friend of mine. Her name is Jacoy Smith. I mean, we've worked together in the African-American music scene for years. And she has a completely different style from me as well. So I thought she'd be a great person to bring along. And we just sat down and brainstormed with Mr. Yomi Omidiran, my producer. And once we were set on the path for the song. I mean, this is what we came out with, what you're hearing now.
It is definitely a digestible one, Bei. When you listen to it, the sound quality is superb. The voice is captivating. I mean, you can give this piece all the qualities you can. And I would imagine that to put up such a brilliant product requires a lot in terms of resources, financial, human resource, material. So could you just tell us, what did it take for you to get all of this done?
Well, I mean, all of those areas, yes, it required those different levels of resources. I mean, the project took a lot of time, which, of course, it requires financial resources. I mean, in general, time is money. But I would still say it was a worthwhile investment that I definitely do not regret. And I thank God for providing me with the resources to do this project.
Right. And apart from social media, what other forms are you going to get this album? CDs?
Okay, so I'm in Love is like my gift to the public. I mean, so what I did is I made it available for free.
Right.
So you can easily access the song on YouTube.com, or you can go straight to SoundCloud.com and download it. I mean, the link is SoundCloud.com/Lady Bei /am-in-love.
Right. So, tell us, for how long have you been in music? I know this is your first official album, but I know in the background you've been singing. And what motivated you to get into gospel?
Okay, so this is quite an interesting story. So I've been singing and writing music for about 10 years. Initially, I got into the music scene, not the music scene. I started getting more interested in music as a teenager because I was trying to work through a lot of my pain and heal from a lot of tough times I had. So I joined my high school gospel choir, and there I met my director, my choir director, Mr. Ned Lewis, who invested so much into my life. I mean, he trained me as a musician first, then a singer, and then he mentored me as a spiritual father in Christ. And so over time, my craft just, improved, and I grew to the point where I just wanted to encourage others in music the same way as I was encouraged.
That's beautiful. So, Bei, you have just kicked off with this single. Do you have a full-length album in mind? If so, when do we expect it?
So for now, I'm working on another single. I hope to put out maybe 1 or 2 more singles before I work on a full album. But hopefully we will be able to. I'll be able to get out a full album by mid to late 2015. That's the.
I guess you are new in the industry as far as professional gospel music is concerned, but apparently you have been observing the landscape in the background. Bei, what do you make of the Cameroonian gospel music industry?
So, first of all, I will say I completely appreciate the gospel music scene of Cameroon. I believe it served a great part of my foundation, who I am as, Lady Bei, as a person and as a musician. But I still feel that, we are yet to catch the ears of a generation of listeners that naturally gravitate to a more urban feel of gospel music. And I mean that from the idea of an African perspective and generally in the music scene around the world. I mean, we've seen artists like Mali Music, who is from America, or Israel Houghton. These are people who decided to do something different that broke through the mold of their genre. And so that's why they were well received eventually. And even now, you can see in the African music scene, you have other artists like Frank Edwards from Nigeria or Sonny Badu from Ghana. I mean, these two guys are examples of artists who have been able to stand out in the African gospel music scene because they dared to do something different from the norm, or somehow do something that is a blend of their roots. So I feel like the Cameroonian gospel music scene needs more of that. And hopefully, I've been able to see artists that have been stepping up to do things like this, and I hope to see more of that.
Now, staying on that, Lady Bei, for the past 15 years you've been in the U.S., a lot has been happening within the Nigerian gospel music landscape. And I must say that the Nigerian-styled gospel music has swept across Cameroon like nothing ever did so. What is your take on the Nigerian gospel music scene?
I'm totally impressed by it, and it's not to talk down the Cameroonian music scene, because I do think we are making attempts and we're making strides. Now, looking from the gospel perspective, I feel like, you know, we can do even more. You know, I think the fact that the Nigerian music is, gospel music is so easily accepted in the Cameroonian scene is because our fellow Cameroonians, they're looking for music that is modern, that is, you know, that is going to, it will catch your ear, but of course still has the content that the feel that it touches your heart, it still reaches you. You can feel the presence of God in it. But at the same time, it's modern, it's hip, it's something that even young people can listen to and naturally gravitate to. I think that's what we really, really need now in the Cameroonian gospel music scene.
Okay, Bei, we want to thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us. Before you go away, there are definitely some young African girls out there who want to make great strides in gospel music as well. And they would also like to probably get in touch with you for advice, if not working with you directly. So how can they reach you?
Okay, so you can definitely get in touch with me on my Facebook page. You can look up Bei Achu, or you can look up Lady Bei. You'll still find me on Facebook. Or I can be emailed at ladybei09@gmail.com. And anybody is welcome, and you're welcome to contact me if you have questions, or even just, you know, if you want to make requests, I'd be happy to be of service.
Okay, Bei, Lady Bei, thank you so much for being part of this edition of African Cocktail. And of course, thank you so much for making the Cameroonian gospel music scene one single reacher. Thank you, and have a blessed Wednesday out there in Maryland. Okay, this is African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo, Stanley from God as main guest, and of course